The old Jeep rumbled down the dusty road, its headlights cutting through the heavy dusk. Inside, 4 friends laughed, their excitement echoing in the close confines of the vehicle. Liam, ever the adventurous one, had convinced the group to spend the weekend at his uncle's vacant mansion. A weekend retreat, he called it, a chance to escape the city and enjoy the peace of the countryside. Beside him, Maya, ever the pragmatist, voiced her concerns about the old house. In the back, Chris, the joker, dismissed her worries with a wave of his hand. Emily, usually the quiet one, sat lost in her thoughts, a sense of unease settling in her stomach. As they finally arrived at the foot of the hill, the mansion loomed above them, a dark silhouette against the dying light. Its windows, dark and empty, seemed to watch their approach. A shiver ran down Emily's spine, and she couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. The laughter died down as they stepped out of the car, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves in the wind. It was as if the mansion itself had cast a spell of unease upon them. Despite her growing apprehension, Emily couldn't help but feel a strange pull towards the imposing structure, a sense of morbid curiosity that both intrigued and terrified her. The heavy oak door creaked open, as if disturbed after years of slumber. The air inside was stale and cold, thick with the scent of dust and decay. Liam clicked on a light switch, but nothing happened. The mansion remained cloaked in darkness, the only light filtering through the grimy windows.
Charming,
Maya muttered, her voice echoing in the vast emptiness. Chris, ever the comedian, pretended to trip over a non-existent object, his forced laughter doing little to lighten the mood. Emily, her unease growing with each step, hugged herself, trying to ward off the chill that seemed to seep into her bones. Liam led the way, his flashlight beam dancing across the dusty furniture and faded portraits lining the walls. The silence was heavy, broken only by the sound of their own footsteps. They wandered through the cavernous rooms, each one seemingly frozen in time. A grand piano sat in a corner, its keys coated in dust. A half-finished game of chess lay abandoned on a table, the players long gone. The mansion was a mausoleum of memories, haunted by the ghosts of lives lived and lost. Emily felt a growing sense of unease, as if she were walking through a dream that could turn into a nightmare at any moment. The mansion seemed to breathe around them, the silence punctuated by creaks and groans. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows like skeletal fingers trying to break in. As they explored further, they discovered a library, its shelves overflowing with leather-bound books. Chris pulled out a volume, its pages brittle with age, and read aloud from a passage about a family driven to madness within the mansion's walls. His voice, usually so full of life, now sounded thin and strained, swallowed by the oppressive atmosphere. Emily swore she saw a shadow move in the corner of her eye, but when she turned, there was nothing there. Later, gathered around a flickering fireplace in the main hall, they shared stories and laughter, trying to break the spell of the mansion's oppressive atmosphere. But the shadows seemed to deepen, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, too faint to decipher, yet filled with an unspoken menace. She excused herself, her nerves stretched taut, and went in search of a bathroom. Lost in the labyrinthine corridors, Emily stumbled upon a room she hadn't noticed before. It was smaller than the others, its wallpaper faded and peeling. A dusty vanity table stood against one wall, its silver-backed brush and hand mirror tarnished with age. Curiosity overcoming her fear, Emily stepped inside. In the corner, she spotted a small wooden chest, its lid slightly ajar. She knelt down, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings on its surface. Taking a deep breath, she lifted the lid. Inside, nestled amongst yellowed lace and dried flowers, lay a leather-bound diary. The diary belonged to a young woman named Elizabeth, who had lived in the mansion a century ago. As Emily read, her heart pounded in her chest. Elizabeth's words painted a terrifying picture of life in the mansion. She wrote of strange noises, cold spots, and a feeling of being constantly watched. She described terrifying nightmares of a shadowy figure with eyes that burned with an unholy light. Most disturbingly, Elizabeth wrote of her growing fear that she was not alone in the house, that something dark and malevolent was sharing her space. Emily's blood ran cold as she realized that Elizabeth's experiences mirrored her own.